to the Pop Talk Podcast. My name is Chauncey Julius, aka Team Julius 3000. This podcast exists solely to eradicate fatherlessness. Our mission is simply to sharpen, to salute, and to encourage fathers to do what? To show up for who matters most in their lives. Fatherhood is a team sport. It's not a solo sport. Together, we can eradicate fatherlessness. And so today, man, I'm excited about our guest, man. He was born in the A. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia. He's the proud father. He's a dad. That's why we have him on the show. He's a proud father of 2 sons. And so he's a boy dad. All right. He's a boy dad, young man dad, whatever you want to call it, and a proud service member of the United States Army. He's been married to his wife, his lovely wife, Katrina, for over 11 years. I'm stoked. It's my man. He's a high energy guy. I'm excited to have him on. My man, Donald Walls. Welcome to the show, Donald.
What's going on? Hey, I appreciate the introduction, man. That was great. Couldn't have said it better myself, man. I appreciate it.
And so, man, you're in the Army, man. Tell our audience where you're currently serving.
So I am currently the detachment sergeant, just like a first sergeant for Regional Health Command Europe in Sembach, Germany.
Okay, man. How you like it in Europe, man?
I love it. It's an adjustment in the beginning, spending euros versus spending dollars, the time difference, the currency exchange, all of that will get to you in the beginning. But, you know, with time, everything heals. So we love it. You know, but pre-COVID, we traveled to 9 different countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, you know, we've done a lot over here before COVID shut us down.
I want to get into
Europe
those countries, some of those countries that stood out to you. But before we do, man, let's get this out the way. Let's get some housekeeping out the way. Where can people follow you on social media?
So I am Walls Donald on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm Lead the Way D Walls on Instagram. And I'm Duck Walls 84 on Snapchat.
We on Facebook, IG, and Snapchat. And so y'all go over there. Follow my man. He's good people, man. He always posting some cool pictures from over there in Germany and Europe and beyond, man. And so follow my man. He's a good guy. Man, you say you travel through Europe, man. Tell me about that, man. What are some places, some cities, some countries that stood out, bro?
Prague is amazing. World's oldest astronomical clock. It's right downtown. They have these things called Tredelniks, where it's like a cinnamon roll, but it's in a cone shape, and then they put ice cream over. Oh my God!
Wait,
Prague is amazing.
Pastries and ice cream together.
It's like dough, right? They make the bread and they dip it in like cinnamon sugar. So cinnamon sugar on the outside, and then there's ice cream in the middle, chocolate on the top. Prague is amazing. My wife and I got a babysitter, and we spent Valentine's Day last year in Paris. The whole day.
You get a babysitter.
We got the babysitter. Left the kids in Germany. We went to Paris for the day, for Valentine's Day.
Man, bro, give it up to my man Donald.
It was amazing.
I need to up my game, bro.
Paris was nice, man. Paris is nice. Prague is nice.
Yeah.
Berlin. We took the weekends, a 6-hour drive to Berlin. Went down there, drove down there on a Saturday morning, got a hotel. We went everywhere in Berlin. Saw all the historical monuments. We saw where the Berlin Wall was.
Right.
They torn it down, but they still got the poles up there. They posted little placards in German and in English. Look up Checkpoint Charlie. Anybody listening, look up Checkpoint Charlie.
Checkpoint Charlie.
We saw that. Checkpoint Charlie.
What's special about Checkpoint Charlie?
It's where the soldiers, like if you were leaving your area, you had to come back through Checkpoint Charlie to get to back where you were going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they've memorialized Checkpoint Charlie, and and they ain't moving it. Checkpoint Charlie is one of the sights to see when you're in Berlin. We've been to Frankfurt. We've been to a lot of cities in Germany. My wife last year for Martin Luther King Day sent her to London for 4 days. She had a good time over there. My cousin came to visit. We went to Dublin. We went to the Guinness factory. We went to Paris as well. I've been to Amsterdam twice. Went to the Heineken factory, man.
Heine factory.
Yeah, hey, they do it up over here, man. Hey. They do it up.
Man, I'm still on this pastry with the ice cream on it in Prague. Trying to get there. And so what?
It's called a Tredelnik.
A who?
It's Trdelnik. Tredelnik.
Tredelnik. All right.
Yeah, but I will tell you is the Europeans, the ones in Czech at least, They slick. The lady came up. I'm sitting there. We're eating. And she came up and was like, "Oh, let's take your picture." Before I knew it, she took the picture. 10 euros. You want it on the frame, or you want it on the refrigerator? 10 euros.
Wow. So
just
she
like
didn't
that.
give you the
She didn't even give me a chance to say no.
To agree, to disagree.
Right. No consent. Just
tough for that.
Bang. 10 euros. I said, all right. It's all
She's
good. You got me this time. And it's crazy because, 1492 Columbus sailed or whatever, right? But they got castles over here built in the 1100s, 1200s. They got castle ruins from earlier than that.
Man, sheesh.
And you can go visit them. Berg Eltz, one of the biggest castles in Germany.
So wow, man. So you taking trips with your family, man. Let's talk about your family a little bit. We talked about your wife, been married for 11 years with Katrina,
right.
Man. It was a sweetheart, man. Man, she needs her own show.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
She's one of those personalities where she needs her own show. So let's talk about your sons a little bit, man.
Man, those are my boys. Those are two of my favorite people in the world. My son,
names?
Lauren.
What's their names and ages?
Lauren is 9 years old.
Okay.
He's 90 pounds and he stands 4 feet 11 inches.
Hey.
At 9 years old.
At 9 years old.
Yep. Okay. Donald the third, aka Dash, is my 7-year-old. He's a little short. He's probably about 4 feet, but he's got the most energy out of the two. All of that.
They have their own page, right?
Yes, they do. They do. It's on Instagram. It's Lauren's nickname. My mother-in-law nicknamed him Bam Bam. Funny story.
Okay.
When my wife was about 32 weeks pregnant, he was, kicking, moving around, and he hit her sciatic nerve, and she fell. So when we told my mother, she fell back on the couch. She didn't hit the ground. It wasn't tragic.
Okay.
But she hit the sciatic nerve, and she hit the ground, or she hit the couch. And my mother-in-law said, "He hit you that hard? I'm gonna name that baby Bam Bam, like Bam Bam from the Flintstones." Wow. Yeah, so it's Bam X Dash. Dash's nickname comes from The Incredibles. We're in Washington, and he's in the womb, and he's putting his feet on her. So every time I go to touch it, it moved, and it's down here.
Uh-huh.
So when I do that again, and I said, "Oh, he got some quick feet."
He quick.
Okay, so he gonna be Dash, and he's quick right now.
Both of your sons got their nicknames in the womb.
Yes,
that's crazy. I haven't heard it. That's unique. I didn't know that, man. And
they were nicknamed before they came out.
Man, that's crazy. And we've been friends for over 10 years, almost 12, 13
Man, it's been longer than that.
Man, yeah, it's been a minute, man.
I came up to Kansas in 08.
So 08?
13 years, yeah.
Had polo pants, man. I was like, this brother got pants.
Yes, Lord.
He knows something.
Yes, he does.
I think he knows Ralph. He does. Because every day he's popping up in Ralph Lauren. I was like, man, this guy Ralph. Yeah, that's cool, man. So, man, I see you beaming up, man, when you talk about your kids, man. What springs to mind when you hear the word father?
So, to me, when I hear father, I think protector, number one. I think provider. I think of everything that I do. So, I am my son's role model. I'm their male parental figure. When it's time for them to exert that male energy, I'm who it needs to go to.
Ooh,
because good. I'm the dad. Most kids, when they are exerting that male energy with their mom, because she's a nurturer, she might be, "Oh, it's all right." Dad's like, "Hey, look, you giving me male energy, I'm gonna give it right back to you. I'm gonna let you know there's a time and place for all of your male energy, but right now ain't it."
That's good, man.
I'm gonna be. My son is going to be. I'm the person that he's going to look at and say, "Okay, I want to be like my dad," because I'm here every day. And if I had a daughter, I feel like my daughter would look at me and say, "Okay, I need to find him when I'm looking for a mate."
That's rich.
So I need to be on it.
Absolutely, that's cool.
I need to be on it.
With that. You talked about being on it, man. What are some challenges that you're facing on your quest to be on it, right? On your quest to be that example.
It's learning. it's constant. You have to be a student if you're gonna be a dad, because your kid ain't like my kid.
There. Let's pause right there. You gotta be a student. That's
you have to be a student.
Y'all can go ahead and tweet that out there. Hey, for real. Like, you gotta be a student if you're gonna.
You have to be a student, because kids, I can't call you and say, "Hey, Chauncey, what did Gibson do?" And then, okay, what did you do to, counteract that? And then try that with Dash and try that with Lauren, because they're not the same kid. Lauren and Dash come from the same parents, and they're not the same kid. So I'm constantly learning Lauren. I'm constantly learning Dash. And by the time I figure it out, Lauren and Dash are on to something else. That's why I say you got to be a student.
I like what you said about being a student, because when you hear that, you think, okay, let me just read as many fatherhood books as I can, right? Let me look at as many YouTube videos as I can on fatherhood. However, you're saying, no, this needs to be some custom learning.
Yes, this is OJT, on the job training. On the job training,
exclusive from your son, each son, right?
You're right.
Child, and learning from them, learning what works and what doesn't work with them. That's good. That's
right.
Good.
So I'm gonna give you an example. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Right? I don't whip either one of my kids, but it's because I don't have to.
There you go.
I can tell Dash, there will be, you're going to bed at 8:00 if you do this again. He won't do it again for a week, because Dash likes to go to bed at 9:30. But if I tell Lauren, you're going to bed at 8:00, yeah, Dash trying to hang up. He's trying to hang. But if I tell Lauren, you're going to bed at 8:00, if you do it again, he might do it again, because Lauren likes to go to bed.
He's like, you ain't punishing me.
All right, Dad, you ain't. So, but if I say no more Switch, Nintendo Switch, not the tree switch.
Not the tree switch.
Not the tree switch.
I went to the tree.
See what I mean? So, and somebody watching this gonna go there too.
Yeah.
So if no more Switch, or you can't go outside and play with your friends, if you do that again, Lauren might not do it the rest of the month. He's laser focused. He needs everything that's coming to him and then some. And he's not going to jeopardize himself. I know that about him, because I'm in there with Lauren. Every day when I come home, they jump on me, and we fire it up right then.
And so my question is, man, because you talked about different parenting styles for different children, right? You have to kind of go at your discipline different. You have to kind of go at your love different. It's still the same intensity, right? However, it's a different style, different methodology. And so I think about the different dads that we've seen over the years, decades since I've been alive, who are on TV.
Right.
Who's your favorite TV dad? And is there a television or movie dad that you can relate to the most?
So I think about, and I know this guy is not very popular right now, but Bill Cosby, Cliff Huxtable is my favorite TV dad of all time.
We could separate the action.
Right. I can separate Bill Cosby and Cliff Huxtable. Fantasy, reality, right? So Cliff Huxtable, a doctor. I'm in the science field as well. He's married to a beautiful woman.
Yep.
And she's still beautiful.
Still beautiful. Yeah.
And he went to work. Right. Felicia Rashad. He went to work, wife went to work, and they came home and they still found graceful ways to deal with their children's actions. They didn't come home. They weren't absent parents, even though they both had a job or had a career.
Right.
They both went to work. They dealt with work. They came home. They didn't bring work home. He wasn't like a over aggressive dad because he had a bad day. Cliff Huxtable came home and took the doctor coat off, put on his dad hat. He made fun of Theo. He raised Vanessa, did everything. He showed up. Cliff Huxtable was there. And running right alongside of Cliff Huxtable is, I would have to say, Philip Banks. Uncle Phil. Yeah. Same thing though.
First rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
That's right. For real. So same thing. He had a career. His wife had a career. They both came home, dealt with the kids, and they even took in their nephew.
That says a lot about Uncle Phil. And not only just took him in, treat him like a stepson, or I wouldn't say that. That's probably not appropriate, but
he treated him like a son.
Treat him as if he was less than a son. We'll say that.
Right.
He didn't do that.
He didn't. He treated him like you one of mine. You here? We're gonna raise you just like you've been raised with the other ones.
And he showed up. I remember the episode where Will was like got in over his head in debt
at the pool hall.
Pool hall, yeah, at the pool hall episode.
Jeffrey, break out Lucille. Tore that dude up behind the back, eating a sandwich. All
showed up though. He was involved enough to know that. Look, man, my son is in trouble.
Right,
my nephew, but I'm treating him like my son. Man, guess what?
Right.
Go down here and make this.
We're gonna go down here and handle this.
Oh yeah, for real. And
now I'm gonna give him his lesson, but I'm definitely gonna get him out of this trouble.
Oh yeah, man. They broke out Lucille, and the rest is history. Man.
It was over with.
Let's transition a little bit, man. We talk about, man, these fathers that you relate to, man. Awesome, characters on the screen, man. Dr. Cliff Huxtable, Uncle Phil,
Yep.
Man, these are awesome pictures and great examples of fathers on television, man. What does it take to be a good dad?
It takes a lot. It takes your presence. To be a good father, it takes you being a student, because you always have to learn your kid. You always have to learn. And it takes you just, I don't even want to say you have to provide. You got to show love.
Right.
You just got to be there. And you just got to have that kid's best interest above all else.
That's good, man. You said presence. You said being a student, which we kind of got to earlier.
And you have to do it in love. There's really no other way to be successful at it.
So we're packaging presence and being a student in love. We're putting all that in the box of
love. There you go.
And every day when we show up, that's what we're giving to them. That's good.
Yep.
That's good. How difficult is it to be a good father in 2021?
It's not easy. That is for sure, because you have to figure out how, or realize how you were raised, and take all of those rights and all of the things that you didn't like. And then you have to be in position to be able to impart knowledge and wisdom onto a child. And you have to realize that, man, that child may or may not soak it up, and people hate giving advice, and they're like, you're not going to listen to it, but that's your son. So you got to do it. That's your daughter. That's your kid. You got to do it. You don't want anybody else to do it, because they may not love your kid the way you do. So the advice might be different. They may say something's okay, and it really ain't. But if you're not there then you don't know what's going to happen.
And so you said that, man, I like that. You said that you got to show up and pour into them, even though they may not accept it.
Right.
Man, that's good. That's for all you dads out there, know that. Like, just because you're dad, just because you're in position, doesn't mean that every truth, every bit of wisdom and knowledge that you spew out, man, is not, that they're not going to receive it, man. I work at the detention center, man, and I work with youth every day. And, I had a kid the other day say, dude, why every time you open up your mouth, you trying to preach to us? You trying to drop some gems on us or whatever like that. It's like, because I care,
Right.
But a lot of times they don't accept it. But like what you said is key. You still show up the next day. Still show up the next moment, and you continue to play your role. You continue to wear that dad hat. And, and it's all being fueled by what you said earlier, love.
Yep.
That's
all love.
And so, man, you have some values, man, there. You talk about presence, being a student, always learning,
always
not a parent, and packaging all this in love, man. Where does this come from, man? Talk about your story on how you became a dad. What was it planned? Was it part of something that you and Katrina came up with and said, okay, by this date? Like, talk to us about that.
So Trina and I got married December 2009, December 18th. And she already had a daughter. Of course, I knew this before I married her. And so it had to be like,
we got married. Let me stop you right there. So we're talking about a blended family.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Right. So maybe about It's December, so we're at Labor Day now. Labor Day of the following year. And it's just Katrina and I and Caleb. And I'm like, man, I really want a son. Like I want a son. You know, I'm here, I'm in college. I'm probably about to get this job. I got this internship with Eli Lilly. I'm going, you know, from Wichita to Kansas City. And I'm like, man, if I get this job, we're going to move to Indianapolis, where the headquarters is, or, you know, wherever they put me. I want a son. So Katrina was like, okay, you know, if you get this job, we'll be doing well enough. Boom, we good. So we went and got like some movies, or I don't know, we was watching Netflix, or I don't even remember what we were watching at the time. But we just literally stayed in the house making love all 4 days. And when it's crazy.
We gotta keep this PG. We gotta keep this PG.
That's why I said making love.
And that's why I said movies. What kind of movies did y'all? What y'all?
This old, you know, classics like Life. Okay. Coming to America is her favorite movie, so I'm pretty sure we watched that a dozen times.
So y'all was Netflixing and chilling back in what? What is this?
Literally,
like 2010.
This is when you had to mail Netflix.
Hey.
Hey, we was going to the red box.
So y'all had to. I remember that when you had to mail Netflix and they send you back a DVD. Wow, you going back now. So y'all being intimate, man, and for 4 days straight.
Literally, and
so
it's crazy because we're researching how to make a boy versus how to make a girl, and Katrina going way left to make sure that we got a boy. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do what you say, you know, whatever. And her best friend came up to visit us and had a dream that she was pregnant. And, you know, they go and get the pregnancy test. Boom. 9 months later, June 18, 2011, Lauren was the only boy born at Manhattan General Hospital, I think it is. Okay. Their hospital on Claflin.
Yeah, right across.
He was the only boy born that day.
Across from the stadium.
Yep.
The Wildcat. Bill Snyder Stadium.
Bill Snyder Stadium.
All our Kansas people out there.
Yep. So he was the only boy born that day. The nurses just kept coming in. Oh my God, we want to see him. He's the only boy born today. So that was good. So for my baby boy, for Dash, I'm in AIT in Fort Sam, Houston. And it's Thanksgiving. Same conversation pop up. Lauren just turned 1. 5 months earlier, and Katrina comes down for Thanksgiving. My mom prepared all of this food. My wife literally came down with 4 days worth of clothes and another suitcase full of food that my mom had wrapped up for us to eat. Okay. We got a hotel room, same deal.
Right.
So both of my sons were playing. My baby boy was playing a little bit more intricately.
System, y'all got a little system.
Yeah.
You know get some movies.
We spent I'm talking about we ate off the same food for 4 days. That's how much my mom made and sent her down with.
I thought we had a fishes in the low story going on here, man. It was a miracle, man. We ate off the same food for 4 years, man.
I know, right?
That's dope, man. It's so man,
that was crazy.
Those are some awesome stories, man. I love to hear about, how dads became dads.
Right.
Whether it was start out, not throwing any judgment out there, but whether it was start out, whether it was planned, what was the process like, what were those days like leading up? And so that's pretty cool, man. We talked about TV dads, and one of the things that, which leads me to gravitate towards one dad over another is being able to see their flaws as well. Mm-hmm. That's why I identify with James on Good Times so much.
Right.
Sometimes, they make buffoons of the flaws. Like, you think about Al Bundy and Married with Children. But I'm thinking about, which I love, Married with Children.
Yeah, me too.
The Tang sandwiches and the toothpaste sandwiches. 4 touchdowns in a single game.
4 touchdowns in one game, poke high.
You gotta love that dude. And
yes, indeed.
But tell me about an occasion when you missed the mark as dad.
Man, you're gonna make me tear up, man. And this one is recent too, and that's why it's so fresh in my brain. So 9-year-old son, right, Lauren, He at 9, I knew how to do. I was playing baseball, football, basketball. I knew how to do pretty much everything a 9-year-old boy is supposed to, ride a bike, all of that, right? And I taught Lauren. I'm trying to teach Lauren everything. We just having an issue with like multiple step things like tying shoes. You got to make sure all your lace is right, pull them, and you know the shoe tying process. Right. But Lauren has inattentive ADHD. So if I tell him, 4 things to do, he'll get maybe 3 of them, definitely 2, maybe 3, but that 4th one we ain't got a chance, right? So I know this, but I'm still telling Lauren, tie your shoe, tie your shoe, tie your shoe. And I'm getting frustrated and I'm yelling at him. And it just hit me one day like, man, with this inattentive ADHD, shoe tying is multiple steps. It don't look right because he's trying to not get you to yell at him, but he can't get to all them steps. And I just felt like a real dirtbag for instead of finding a solution for him, which is what I should have done from the get-go as his father. I was yelling at him, trying to make him do it one way.
Being a tyrant. I
was exactly. So now that I realized that, I apologize, which is important. And I immediately said, okay, Lauren, we're going to get these things called drawstring shoelaces. You put them in there and, you like the old Jordans, you had a little thing right there. You could pull the shoe strings through. So with these, there's no tying. It's just a little squeeze thing, and you pull it when it gets tight, let it go. And you cut the extra off, and then you put a little clamp right there. And when he wants to take his shoes off, pulls the pump up, the shoe loosens, he can get out of it. When he wants to tighten it up, 1 step. But I think like had I thought about that earlier, then I definitely would not have felt or made him feel like he was inadequate or that he couldn't do something that his father was asking him to do.
That's good, man. That's good because, man, there's a lot of things there, man. There's mindfulness,
right.
in this particular issue with, where you came up short and you missed the mark as dad. There's, man, you came up with a great solution to empower him.
Right.
But even going back after you snapped on him and what have you, and you put that pressure on him, man, the apology, bro.
Yes.
Like, there's not, I know growing up in my story, there wasn't a lot of apologies. It wasn't an apology-filled childhood, It was, let's be clear, man. It wasn't an apology-filled childhood, man. It was like, hey, how come that trash ain't, them dishes, hey, my dad kind of leaned more towards he loved us to death, but he leaned more towards the tyrant, and so, man, I like this story right here where, man, it's filled with apology, it's filled with just you being mindfulness of his, his issue with ADHD, man. That's dope, bro. How did Lauren respond to
when I told him we were getting the drawstring shoelaces?
Yeah.
Oh, he was happy.
How did he respond?
He was happy. He's a happy kid, and it really rocks me because he's a happy kid, but he was trying to do the best of his ability what I was asking him to do and couldn't do it. So that was making him feel bad. And then my words weren't
helping,
welcoming, weren't helping at all. So I had to check myself, apologize to him for even using those words. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was just like, Lauren, come on, man, you're 9 years old. How come you can't do this? But that's not right.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good. And so, man, I think this is a good follow-up to what we're talking about right here as far as just like when we come into fatherhood, go back to, after y'all watched the 4 movies, right? Right. Came out that, hey, Donald, baby, you about to be a father. Like, did you have any ideas about fatherhood that were proven wrong after becoming a parent?
Oh, for sure. What
were some of those, man?
I was like, man, I'm ready. I'm ready to be a dad, right? Nope, lies. You're never ready. You're not going to be ready because you're about to try to bring and produce a productive citizen in the world and you've never done it before. You can't say you're ready to do something you ain't never did. You don't know how to do it. You can't say that. So another thing you got to learn, because I said so is not an acceptable answer. And all that I get understanding. Man, you have to understand.
It feels so good to say it though.
Because I said so. No, that's not a reason. Lauren, take the trash out. Why? Because I said so. No, maybe because it smells. And, you know, as the junior man in the house, that's your job. That's a better answer than because I said so. Because I said so, that doesn't solve anything.
And so you're raising men right there.
Right.
Because you're giving purpose. You're answering the why question, which is critical. Which
absolutely,
that probably got you a backhand to the mouth back in the 80s when he was growing up. You know what
Real
I'm saying?
quick.
But
Real quick.
That why question, man. And so, man, and then you have a vision. It sounds like you have a vision for who you want your son to be later on down the road.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So another thing, I think it was, like I said, you can have money, you can have all the diapers in the world. You won't be ready for the smells. You won't be ready for laying up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because the baby won't go back to sleep. If the baby has cholera or, you know, all these other infections that they can get, you're just not ready for that. But the one thing that you have to do is stay in there.
That's good.
But you're not ready.
You're not
and
ready.
You have to, like I was saying earlier, I had to go back. Okay, Donald, how are you raised? Raised like this, raised like this, raised like this. Mom, you did nothing wrong. I'm the perfect son. Shout out Elaine Strickland. I love you, right? But
shout out, Mama.
I'm figuring, shout out, Mom Dukes. But I take everything that I liked, everything that I didn't like, and I'm going to repackage it and give it to my son. I'm not going to do everything right, for sure. But I'm going to try to do more right than my mom did with me. And I think that will make my mom happy.
That's rich. That's good. That's good.
I think that's going to make my mom happy. And also, last thing, I have to teach myself. I tell them all the time, baby boy, you got to think. You have to think. Nobody, they can take everything in the world from you, but if they don't take your brain, you can always make a way.
Yeah.
You have to think.
That critical thinking piece.
You have to be able to think, and you know, and hopefully you're never in a stressful situation, and all of your situations where you have to think are either like business related or they're just easy decision making. But son, think. When we encounter an issue in the house, Lauren, stop. Let's stop for a second. Let's think about, instead of me yelling at you for doing this, let's think about how it happened. Tell me how it happened. Okay, you told me how it happened. What could we have done to prevent it? Okay, so boom. What are we going to do next time? You knocked over the cup. Well, Dad, I put the cup on the edge and I was playing right here. Okay, so that's why the cup knocked over. So now you have to clean it up. But you also, what are you going to do next time? Dad, I'm going to put the cup away from the end. So even if I am playing, I'm not going to have a chance to break it. Son, I think that's brilliant. I think that is a good idea.
Wow.
Before he does something, Lauren, let's think about it for a second. What you about to do? Dash, think about it. Slow down. What you about to do? I'm going to do this. Okay. Well, I was going to put it right here, Dad, but I might. So I'm going to put it over here, or I might not do it this way, Dad. I'm going to do it another way, because if I do it this way, I can see it going down. Okay, good. Very good.
That's good. And it's important that they learn these skills. And man,
absolutely,
how fitting is it for them to learn it from Dad, right? From Dad to walk them through this whole deal, man, and teach them how to think. That's an ongoing battle in the Julius house. I'm still, you know, we're walking Kennedy, who's about to be 13 here in a few months. You know, I know, right?
Kennedy got to stop.
And she won't stop growing. And so
Kennedy has got to stop.
We're walking Gibson through this as well, man. Just critical thinking, looking at the potential risk involved, you know, and also, like you said earlier, walking them through that purpose side of it, walking them through that why side of the house, man. You talk about your mom, and we know that you was pretty much raised by mom, you know, single parent mom, but you had a relationship with your father though, correct?
So my father was murdered when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
So everything that I didn't get from my mom is basically in my DNA. because, you know, I know how much I can give to a 5-year-old, but nobody knows how much is going to stick.
Correct.
So everything that I am that came from my father, my looks, I think, you know, my mom is smart as a whip, but my dad was astronomical with the smarts.
Oh wow, really?
So, yeah, everybody, when I converse with my family members on my father's side, you speak just like your father. That's what they tell me. You look just like your dad. Oh, you graduated from college. Oh, your dad would be so proud. Oh, your dad, you did. So I know what I get from my mom, and I know what I get from my dad.
It sounds like dad had a good name.
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Okay, and
my dad had
as well.
2 or 3 sons.
Okay,
but I'm the youngest, and I'm the one that got his name.
Okay, that's cool, man. That's cool. And so you pretty much, you know, are in this fatherlessness deal, you know, and I want to kind of get into that question as far as, you know, there's, you know, and I get into it because this is our deal. This is our deal over at Pop Talk. You know, this is why we exist, is to eradicate fatherlessness, and kids, children become fatherless for a multitude of reasons, right? Whether dad just up and left one day, whether mom and dad didn't work out, divorce, in your case, and then as a case that I had on my last interview, you know, the father passed away, you know?
Right.
And so, man, when I try to wrap my mind around the fatherless epidemic in America, nearly 20 million children are fatherless in America. In the African American community, it's 2 out of 3, right? Man, you're more likely to drop out of school. You're more likely to become a teen parent. You're more like, the list just goes on with all the negative statistics out there surrounding fatherlessness. Like, what are your thoughts when it comes to the fatherless crisis in America?
I think it's a shame. I think it's very tragic because fathers are desperately needed in the household. But I also think it's by design, because I think it's unfair for any level of government to say, we'll give you money as long as the dad ain't there. I think that's terrible.
I agree.
And I think it's why it could be a part of why society is the way it is. But if anything, the government should say, okay, let's try to empower this father to be able to provide for his family, versus saying, well, as long as he's not here, we got you.
Right. And where you're doing home checks to verify that.
Exactly.
Here as well. And so it sounds like what I'm hearing from you is like the government is in on this, you know.
Could be.
To a degree.
Yes, for sure.
And so, man, yeah, we definitely have to do something about that. You know, I know one of the things that's near and dear to my heart is legislative reform in this area. You know, get the laws changed that, you know, instead of, you know, get the laws changed where we can empower families. You know,
exactly.
We can build families up and not tear families down and dangle that carrot in front of them.
And
say, listen, if you do this, we'll do this. I think that we really need, and we can't have enough. You know, there are fatherhood programs out there. There are fatherhood organizations out there that are designed to empower and equip dads to facilitate, you know, healthy relationships with their children. However, we need more. We need more people.
Absolutely.
And then we need more people to get a hold of these dads in the early stages, right? Maybe even before they become a father, when they're expecting, to equip them and surround them with a team of caring fathers, caring men, to say, hey, listen, you don't have to go with this alone. You don't have to go with this alone. So, man, that's good. Yeah, we definitely need some reform in that area. But, you know, it's a fine line, because there are mothers, single parent mothers out there who needs the assistance because dads are just simply uninvolved, right? Totally checked out. And so we have to find out how to walk that fine line.
Right.
However, and at the same time, I guess I'll say it that way, empowers families, man. What are the main responsibilities a father has? You kind of talked on it a little bit as far as being present, having that mindfulness, which is just an awesome point that you brought out, man. But what are some what are some responsibilities, you know, in this day and age where, you know, gender roles are being, you know, attacked and questioned, and, you know,
they're being misconstrued.
yeah.
And for sure. But so as a father, I believe my responsibility is to make sure that my family is safe. I'm supposed to put them somewhere safe. I always tell my wife when we PCS, on post, off post, I don't care. I'll find you a house, you make it a home.
Mm.
So I'm in charge of my family's security, safety. I believe I'm not in charge of my wife's happiness so much, but I'm in charge of my children's happiness for sure, because I'm the only one that works in my house. So if I'm out doing me with my check and my sons are not happy, then I don't think I'm doing a good job as a father. So I'm in charge of their safety. I'm in charge of my children's happiness. And I mean, everything else, everything that deals with the family, I believe, comes from God, through the father, and then to the rest of the family.
Mm.
So everything, safety, security, financial stability, home stability, raising, teaching them how to be productive members of society, community. I'm in charge of their village.
Mm.
They need to know, look, hey, God is the only person that comes before dad. We get that. So, but dad is going to surround us with a village of people that care about us. Not that they get to overwrite what dad is saying, but I can go over there and I can feel safe too, because dad made this person a part of my village.
That's good. That's rich, especially where you bring in the spiritual piece as well. It's like God is over dad. Dad is covering and is the point man for this family. That's rich. And where, you know, I always told people, and I think you were here when we were doing that. You know, you were in Kansas at the time, where the church where we were going to, we talked about MP3 man, right? Where you called to be a
priest, provider, protector. Yep.
Protector. Yeah, I like that protection piece. And provider piece as well, where we just don't provide a paycheck, but we provide an environment,
exactly,
a home that's conducive to growth, that's conducive to learning and rearing and love, right? And so I like that. And where you also providing, you know, more than a paycheck, but you're providing a culture and a village for your child as well. And so, man, that's some really good stuff there, man. Man, since we're still talking about this area of, you know, fatherlessness and what are the major responsibilities, in your opinion, what would you say is the most pressing issue that we are facing today as men?
As men, one, financial freedom.
Okay.
And two, legacy and inheritance.
So you say financial freedom. Why financial freedom?
Because I can do anything in the world if I'm financially free. I can raise my children in whatever neighborhood I choose to raise them in. Whatever it is, I can do it. If I'm financially free and my kids want to, you know what, Dad, we want to take a vacation. School been long, work been long, you know, the army been long, I'll put in leave. Okay, well, for a week, we're going to throw a dart at a map and we're going to go wherever it is. And we're going to rest. We're going to recharge our batteries so that in a week or two, we can get back in the fight.
That's good. That's good. So you say that financial freedom, and then you also said legacy and inheritance. Tell
legacy.
us about that.
I have to, I'm about to go back and get my master's degree. Hopefully, you know, pray for me. I'm applying for green to gold this year. Okay, so if I get in, I'll be in school in Washington State.
So for those our listeners and our viewers who are not familiar with military terminology and what have you, what's green to gold?
So green to gold is the NCOs, enlisted members, transitioning to the officer side.
Okay.
So we wear green, our rank is green, and now we're going to put on the gold ranks of the enlisted officer, or of the officer corps. Sorry.
So commissioned officers.
Commissioned officers. So we're going to get a degree I'll be, or whether it's graduate or the bachelor's degree, because not everybody that's enlisted has a bachelor's degree. But to be an officer, you have to have one. So I'm going for my master's degree in public health or healthcare administration, depending on the program I get into. If I get in 2 years later, I'll commission. And then, to be, quite honest and blunt, my paycheck will double.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. You'll be on a whole nother. You'll leave the E scale and go to the O scale.
And go to the O scale, the paycheck. I mean, I'm not doing it for the paycheck, but it's nice. So
we're talking about military, man. And so is there a difference between, and I guess you've been a father, you've been a military dad your whole dad career, right? Your whole dad life. What do you think are some differences between fathering as a military dad as opposed to fathering as a civilian dad?
Military dads, I think we have less time with our children because there's no clock for us. We don't clock in, clock out. We don't follow a set schedule. Like I'm at work Monday through Friday, but I might have to go to work on Saturday.
Gotcha.
For the average career civilian is going to go to work Monday at 8, get off at 4. The average soldier, enlisted officer, junior enlisted, non-commissioned officer, whatever, is going to go to PT at 6:30, come back at 8, just in time to send the kids to school. 9 o'clock, back at work. 1700 coming home.
There's a lot
out of the house for 12 hours.
That's on mom. Mom is present, and then a lot of communication that has to go forth. For you and mom to be on the same page as far as making sure that you're there for the kids, right?
Right. And again, it's not all right, I'm clocking out now, and we're not even going to mention the force comm units that go to the field for weeks at a time.
Oh wow.
And we're not going to mention, I haven't seen I'm sure there are civilians that have, went overseas, but they signed up for that kind of thing. The average civilian does not deploy for 9 months to a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, man.
So I think that the military member has less time with their kids. So we got to make it count when we're here.
Got to make it count. That's awesome, man. Thanks for just shedding light on that, man. Thank you for your service to our country, man. That sacrifice.
Hey, man, I stand on your shoulders, big dog. You lead the way.
Hey, we appreciate that, man. But yeah, man, we appreciate the man and the father and the husband that you are, man. Husband for 11 years, father for about that same amount of time, man. 9 years?
Yeah.
Man, just appreciate your service.
Remember, I had Kayla when I married Katrina. Oh, Katrina had Kayla.
Yeah. So that's 11 years. You've been a dad. Yeah. Bro. You've been a bonus dad. You've been stepping it up for quite some time here, man. Yeah. That's crazy. I
love it.
So, speaking of time, man. I want to land this plane, man. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self, man. We're going back to 18 when you was a beast. This is before Grambling. A lot of y'all don't know. He is a product. Donald is a product of an HBCU.
Absolutely. Right. The Grambling State University, class of 2006.
Hey.
Kappa Alpha Psi, spring 2004. Man.
I mean, I'm telling y'all, man, this brother is an athlete, right? Man, like you name it, football, baseball. He went to school for baseball. I mean, he could throw that football, man, basketball. He's an athlete, man. He could shoot that jumper. And then even with cycling, man, we went and did we did cycling when we was in Kansas, man. We was riding the bike.
We did.
This brother had a bike without any gears. He didn't have any gear. I think he had one gear on his bike, and he was leaving us.
One that it came with.
Boom. The one that it came with.
Yep. So there was no thumb action.
Man, this Donald,
getting it in.
Donald is an athlete. Man. So, man, if you could go back to that athletic, super athletic, 18-year-old self, man, young, the world in front of him, man. What would you do anything different? What would you say to that 18-year-old self?
I would tell my 18-year-old self to slow down. You'll get there. As long as you keep living, you'll get there. Slow it down. Take your time. I would have let the Army pay for my college so that I wouldn't have student loan debt.
Okay.
I'd have let them pay for it. I'd have got a job right out. Yeah, it was right after 9/11. So, those that were about that life were joining. But if you weren't, if you were from a neighborhood that was filled with social injustice from law enforcement, and you were like, no, I'm not going to go and fight for this country. They don't even like me over here. So
that's right.
I digress. I would have done that. I probably still would have chose Grambling State because Coach Randall came to my house with my scholarship paperwork printed out for my mom or for me to sign. So I probably still would have chose Grambling.
You didn't earn your scholarship once you got there. He came to your house.
No. He came to my house. He saw me play at Auburn University and try. He was like, I got to have that kid. So he contacted my mom through my baseball coach there. And my mom gave him the address. He drove the Grambling van up to Grambling, signed on the dotted line at my kitchen table.
Wow, man. So we said, patience. Slow down a little bit, Donald.
Slow down. You're going to get there. You're going to get there.
Pay for your schooling.
Army would have paid for my school. And honestly, man, I think that's about it.
That's about it.
I have not had a bad adult life.
Man, that's awesome, man. That's awesome to hear, man. Well, man, I really appreciate you taking time out your schedule to come on to Pop Talk and just chop it up with us, bro. Chop it up with us.
Absolutely, man. This was fun.
Your fatherhood journey and your fatherhood experience up until now, man. Man, really appreciate the man who you are. Appreciate your family. Our families, we go back, man. We
absolutely
we're trying to get over there to Germany, man, but COVID had other plans, bro.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. You was on the way too.
We were
tell Kenny I'm keeping them refrigerator magnets coming.
Hey, man, this is good, man. Man, I hope the listeners and the viewers, y'all found some value in this, bro. Man, this has been a great thing, man. It's always a joy to sit down, just talk, man, just have a conversation,
For sure, man.
Hey, that pretty much concludes it, man. Again, man, he's Donald Walls, man. He's a staff sergeant in the US Army, father of two, husband of one for 11 years, man. And he is currently serving over in Germany. Serving over in Germany as pretty much a first sergeant. First sergeant over there, man. And so call him Top, call him Smoke. He the man. He the man over there, man. And so, man, look him up. Look him up on social media. We're going to go over those again, just pretty much Walls Donald on Facebook, Lead the Way Walls on IG. If that's not a military tag, I don't know what it is.
Right.
Lead the Way Walls. And then you can find them on Snapchat as well at Duck Walls 84. You can also find them on PlayStation. What's your handle?
I'm telling you. Hey, Duck Juice 1, man.
Duck Juice 1. You can find them in the park,
man.
You can find them in the park.
I'm telling you.
You can find them
in the park now.
You can find
up on there. You want that smoke?
Hey, that's what's up. Hey, Donald, man, my brother, y'all. This is my brother for real, man. Man, always a joy to catch up with you, bro.
Absolutely.
What you're doing in life, man. Again, this is the Pop Talk Podcast, and I'm your host, Chauncey Julius, man. We exist. Y'all know why we exist, to eradicate fatherlessness. We're trying to do away with it, and it is a big, hairy, audacious goal that scares the heck out of me. But, man, if we can sharpen, man, if we can salute and encourage, man, if we can convince them to show up for those who need them most, their children, I think we could do it, and we need to do it together. It's not a solo sport. And so, man, catch us next week, man, same bat channel, same bat time, same pop time. Let's say that, all right? Same pop time, same pop channel, and we're going to do it, man. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well at pop_talk podcast. That's pop_talk podcast, and you can keep up with the latest and greatest over there. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast on all your platforms, all streaming platforms where you find podcasts. We're over there. And man, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your day with us, man. Again, I'm Chauncey Julius, aka Team Julius 3000, and he is Donald Walls. Salute.